Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to ask questions of these outstanding witnesses. There is no area of our country where the need for significant investments in water infrastructure is more acute than in our tribal communities. Approximately 12% of tribal homes do not have safe water or basic sanitation facilities, and currently there is a backlog of more than 1,500 sanitation construction projects. As noted, the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights Broken Promises report infrastructure investment on tribal lands has been underfunded for decades. The chronic underinvestment has impacted not only the social, physical, and mental well-being of tribal members, it has affected the ability of tribes to fully leverage their economic potential. The COVID pandemic brought this underinvestment to light again, and no place was more evident than on the Navajo Nation in Arizona. More than 1/3 of the nation's population lacks access to running water or indoor plumbing, and many families have fewer than 10 gallons of water at home at any given time. The lack of access to water and basic sanitation helped fuel the spread of COVID on the nation, which in May of last year had the highest per capita infection rate in the entire country. Given the tremendous backlog of drinking water and sanitation projects across Indian country and on the Navajo Nation, where an estimated 700 million would be needed to connect everyone with safe drinking water and basic sanitation, the National Congress of American Indians has advocated for increasing the tribal set-aside in both clean water and drinking water state revolving funds. Administrator Fox, do you agree that increasing the set-aside would be one way to tackle the significant underinvestment in water infrastructure on our tribal communities?
Thank you for the question, Congressman Stanton. And yes, I agree with you on the tribal set-aside. I will say that this is an issue that I have had the opportunity to work on for a number of years. When the COVID-19 pandemic happened, I worked with a range of philanthropic partners and others to try to get more resources to the Navajo Nation. And this is a dire issue. It's also why President Biden has made one of the priorities of this administration to strengthen the nation-to-nation relationship with tribes. And just to preview something that's coming down the pike from the Office of Water, Congressman, is we are developing a tribal water action plan that is really the Office of Water and EPA's commitment to really accelerate action on these critical water issues in Indian country. And I really look forward to working with you on this moving forward.
Madam Chair, I'm hoping maybe in the future we could have a specific hearing on the issue of the water crisis on tribal nations across the country, and we can learn more detailed information from the EPA and the administration about what steps they are taking to better support our tribal nations. Sadly, the COVID crisis was significantly worse as a result of that water crisis. I now want to turn to the issue of our aging workforce. The Government Accountability Office projects that 30 to 50% of the municipal water workforce will be retiring over the next decade, taking with them decades of experience and knowledge. In my state, the Rural Water Association of Arizona has reported numerous vacancies, and communities and systems have been unable to fill positions due to a lack of qualified workforce. Water and wastewater utilities need a pipeline of qualified skilled workers to help ensure clean and safe water for the public and to maintain the infrastructure necessary to keep services for the public and to maintain the infrastructure necessary to keep service areas economically viable, especially in smaller rural communities. With 93% of the water systems in the country in communities of 10,000 or less, finding qualified workers is a significant challenge. How is the Office of Water addressing the shortage of qualified drinking water and wastewater operation professionals, especially in our smaller rural communities?
Thank you for the question, Congressman. And this issue of an aging water workforce and the need to build the next generation of water workers is something that I saw firsthand when I worked for the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. At that utility, we had essentially a third of our workforce eligible for retired. And what's particularly concerning to me about this issue is like the issue around COVID-19 that we just spoke about, that also the retirements are accelerating because of COVID-19. And so we were really so pleased that Congress has appropriated a couple of $1 million for a water workforce grant program to really invest in these types of workforce training programs. We're going to be announcing the first round of those grants soon. We have also done some work around technical assistance and those sorts of things. I agree with you that the work that National Rural Water, Rural Community Assistance Program does in helping again on these workforce issues, very important, particularly in smaller communities and more rural areas. And Congressman, if this is an area where you would like to see the EPA doing more work, it's something I would welcome the opportunity to have a deeper strategy conversation with you on.
Thank you much. I yield back. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.